Hi, you're welcome to Entertainment News on Channels Television. I am your host, Mayowa Ogundele. We begin today with a spotlight on the United States-sponsored Dawn in the Creek project, which seeks to create new conscious filmmakers. Here's what I'm talking about.
People have a voice to tell their own story without the influence of the West. Do you believe that we can solve our problems in this community without violence? Yes.
After several weeks of work, the United States government-sponsored Dawn in the Creek project with Jeta Amata has begun to bear its first fruit. The project followed teams of Niger Delta youth while creating the films in a Nollywood style to amplify stories of non-violent transformation in Niger Delta.
We can change. I work and give you an opportunity so your voice can be heard. That is it.
Dawn in the Creek is one part of a big initiative that the United States government has undertaken here in Nigeria. We're really interested about the future of this country. We're interested in the future of the youth of this country, and we're looking at a couple of different parts of the country that are really crucial, vital parts of making this whole Nigerian project work, and the Niger Delta is a huge, huge part of that.
I want you 7 people, young people, both male and female. I will teach them how to make film.
To start the project, Jeta had to get in the major players. The success of the entire project depends on the recruited villagers. He must find a way of getting in the best storytellers.
This is the most important thing in life. When I come back, I will make sure I bring that change to the community. Picking them was walking into those communities and engaging people, talking with them, you know, hearing them speak, knowing what made them react the way they did in the past and how they planned in future. And I saw a few leaders in some of them, people who couldn't speak proper English, who didn't go to university, but I knew that they had something to give to the society, and with a bit of training and a bit of exposure, they could achieve that. I've come here to pick 7 people that I want to train how to make films. 7. Today in our kingdom, most of our youth, they have no right to speak when there is truth. Anybody I choose is an ambassador of your community. People call them movie makers, filmmakers, hopeful filmmakers. But after spending more time with them now, I want to change the word of just calling them filmmakers, but voices of the Niger Delta. They're no longer Nollywood people. It's not like we're trying to train people to become Nollywood stars. It's providing a voice for the voiceless. And if it's via film, then it works out. So right now we're using film, but that's not only what they got trained in. It's not just filming or making films. I know this is entertainment, yes, but they're using their voice in a format called film. So they're the voices of the Niger Delta.
The primary objective of the Dawn in the Creek project is to get youth in the Niger Delta to tell their own stories and prefer non-violent solutions to issues arising in the communities. The involvement of the American government in the project, which has adopted filming as a communication tool, may end up opening up the Nigerian movie industry to the more sophisticated Hollywood style.
We've been a part of this process from the beginning, and we're very interested in the medium, and we're also interested in the artists themselves. And so getting the films to Hollywood or Cannes or whatever, that would be great. And to the extent that it helps sort of push this common project forward, that's something that we can certainly facilitate. But as Jet has been saying all along here, it's not really about the movies. It's not really about Nollywood or filmmaking or training filmmakers. It's about making change in Nigeria. And if getting these films an international audience helps with that change in Nigeria, great. You know, we're totally supportive of that. But what we're really interested in is not a new movie being put out and somebody getting famous who wasn't famous. What we're really interested in is getting communities together to talk about the issues that are raised in those films and look for positive, non-violent ways to create change in the Niger Delta.
He had a different opinion on everything.
But before there can be any chance of Hollywood, Jeta must first get his men to understand the art of telling stories through filming.
Of your community. Human nature can be changed. We can change. The normal way, like I always say, we Nigerians, we get given one tiny thing and then we know how to make it work or multiply, you know? So it was the same thing. This is a camera. That's the first thing you tell the guys. This is a camera. This is where you press the button to say record. You record with your iPhone or with your phone, and then you now go slightly into the technicalities of how to tell a story or how to really delve into the camera. So it is not rocket science. The kind of stories we were more concerned about, which we worked with them on, are life-changing stories. Stories that can show that we can change the narratives of the Niger Delta. We can seek other avenues of solving our problems without resorting to violence.
Amata selected 21 promising young people from across Bayelsa, Delta and River States to be trained as filmmakers. Divided into 3 filmmaking teams, they returned to their communities to begin production of their films and become ambassadors for peace in the region.
You are all leaders. You're here for a training that's going to make you a leader. Ozoro made a film about the toxic waste issue they had years ago. Nembe about oil bunkering. And Erema about cultism amongst youth. So you see now these are they're vital issues. It was so interesting going back to their communities to show the films to the communities. And then the community, the reaction, how they reacted to the different scenes. When they had to laugh, they laughed. When they had to cry, they cried. They followed it like they were watching themselves. And afterwards, Andre Blaise Henshaw, who was a compare, came up and asked them, does this mirror your society? And they all said, yes. So see, they could identify with what they saw, which makes a good filmmaker, a good storyteller. So yes, they made me proud that they learned properly, and there's proof that they learned properly because their community accepted their product, accepted them, and sparked off a dialogue.
We now have this incredibly interesting, useful, creative product. And the challenge that we have at this point is, what do we do with that? How do we leverage that product to create the change that we've been talking about?
Dawn in the Creek has been packaged into a reality television show which is expected to hit the screens shortly.